When he suffered that injury on December the 21st, Arsenal were 3 points behind Liverpool, albeit they had a couple of games in hand. But now the gap is 12 points from those 12 games that he has had to sit out. Arteta said there, we have missed him. Tim, if he had stayed fit for those 12 games, would we have more of a title race than we have right now?
I don't think there'd be 12 points clear Liverpool. You know, if you took Mo Salah out of their side, I think it would have hurt them as well. So, for me, he's their best player. Him and Declan Rice, I believe, are the most influential players Arsenal have. And they've missed him. Of course they've missed him. He chops in with goals, but also he makes Odegaard, who plays in that little pocket, a lot better as well, creates more chances for others. He's been a huge miss, but there's a huge plus. There's still a lot to play for Arsenal. Really a lot. You know, not too much tonight, to be perfectly honest. I think it's key to build Saka up. You need him back for this Real Madrid game, you know, next week. They've got Everton in between as well. So I think if I'm Mikel, I'm just keeping an eye on his minutes tonight. You know, I think they've got a team who are capable at home to beat this Fulham side, but does it really matter? Not too much. I know they want a win to get some confidence moving into the Real Madrid game. But I think the key is tonight to give that boy some minutes. I think Saka is so important to them. If they're going to beat Real Madrid, they need their best players. And their best player, in my opinion, is this boy. So half hour possibly tonight, give him some minutes, and then Everton at the weekend, maybe an hour, and then he's ready to go against Real Madrid.
Because that's the thing, isn't it, Clinton? I mean, it might have come too late for the title race, but in terms of how timely this return is for Arsenal, as Tim mentions, in the Champions League, how much better are their chances of beating Real Madrid with Saka in the lineup?
No, their chances are much better. Do I think they'll beat Real Madrid? I'm not sure about that. Real Madrid are a brilliant team. But if it's the same Real Madrid that played against Atletico Madrid, Arsenal do have a chance. And they are vulnerable at the back, Real Madrid, for sure. But going forward, they're outstanding. But Saka, there's a reason you don't be called a star boy if you're not a star boy. Because no one will be naming you a star boy. He is a star boy. Tim hit the nail on the head. He is their best player. He's outstanding. And what I liked about it is he's coming through. He's got the biggest smile on his face. You know, when we just showed clips of him walking, it's like he's missed football. He's a player who misses his football and enjoys it and plays with a smile on his face. More players need to learn from him, but he's one of those people that you just love watching, and you were so disappointed when he picked up the injury, but now he's back on that pitch. Let him go and showcase his ability. I think he's fantastic. I agree with Tim. And obviously what Arteta said, can't put him in straight away. You don't want him to break down. Their biggest game is Real Madrid. I know they still want to put pressure on Liverpool, but the title's gone. But you still want to win football matches to breed confidence moving forward. But yeah, to have him back, I think it's great news for Arsenal.
Says the star boy of Soccer Special.
Oh. I like that. I teed you up nicely, didn't I? Thank you. I'll take that one, Jules. Not sure everyone else along the panel would say it, but I'll take that.
I had my fingers crossed when I said it. Sue, I mean, you know, he's actually missed 13 league games this season in total, which is nearly half of their games. And yet, he is still top of the table for Arsenal for goal involvements in terms of 5 goals, 10 assists. Just having him back there in the fold, having him on the bench, ready to come on, for those teammates of his, how much of a lift does he give them?
Oh, it's a huge boost, and I actually seen those stats to see that he's still up there when he's missed 3 months plus, and that is so impressive, and that just shows how key he is. And Arsenal have been so unfortunate with the injuries that they've had in those attacking areas, and you just think, of course, his ability on the pitch, his goals and his assists, but it's also how he helps those players in and around him. We're not really seeing the best of Odegaard. I think having Saka back in, we'll start seeing the best of him. Also Ben White, I know he's not included today, but he's another player. You just think on that right-hand side, the way that they link and the way that they play together, just having him back is so important. Just having him on the bench and thinking that he could potentially come on. Like Tim said, you've got to make sure you look after him. He's been out for a long period of time, so don't rush him back. I don't think they have. I think they've taken their time with him, but just having him there, you can see that the goal involvements, the fact that he's been out for that period of time and he's still top, just shows what a key player he is.
It has been a serious injury though, Steve, hasn't it? Obviously the game tonight, then Everton at the weekend, then that Real Madrid game. In your experience, how important, as the guys have touched on, is it that they manage this right?
When you say in my experience, you said I was injury prone.
Not at all, no. You've played the game, Steve. That's all I meant by that.
No, listen, it's huge. You don't want him to break down again. He seems, you know, he's played a lot of football from a young age, been thrown into it. He's been Arsenal's shining light. He's been the go-to man from a young age. But he seems robust. You know, he knows his body. We were talking earlier on about, you know, when you're fit. You know, I don't remember coming back when when I come back from an injury and being thrown into half an hour towards the end of the game.
Arsenal with Fulham. Bukayo Saka makes up for lost time as Arsenal star enjoys dream return ahead of Real Madrid showdown. Arsenal star man hits ground running ahead of next week's Champions League clash with Real Madrid. The cheers just kept on getting louder for Bukayo Saka. First his name was read among the substitutes, then he started warming up during the first half, then he entered the fray with 24 minutes left to play, and then he scored just 7 minutes after coming on. This really was the dream return for Saka, more than 3 months since he last played for Arsenal. His hamstring injury and subsequent surgery have been meticulously planned, but no one could have foreseen it all going quite this swimmingly well. Though they cut the deficit to 2-1 in injury time when Rodrigo Muniz scored, Fulham were well beaten at the Emirates as Arsenal returned to action from the international break with a deserved and totally dominant 3 points. Arteta opted not to start Saka in the end, but can't have known quite how on the money he was when he said in his press conference on Monday that the England international was ready to go. Saka was ready to go immediately, no sooner on than lurking at the back post to nod home Martinelli's deft flick from a Mikel Merino cross. It doubled the lead for the Gunners and set Saka on his celebratory jaunt, peeling away, biting his tongue, and raising his arms towards the Arsenal faithful. "Fear not, I'm here now." Saka even made a beeline for the dugout to share an embrace with Sam Wilson, the club's lead physical performance coach, who is led on his rehab. With the small matter of a Champions League quarterfinal against Real Madrid to come next week, the second coming of Saka, 101 days after his last game 20 games ago, could scarcely have gone better. Arteta will have been delighted with Saka's contribution, and at his makeshift striker scoring again. That goal settled the nerves with the interval on the horizon, and after halftime Arsenal let their dominance show, holding Fulham at arm's length and enjoying a purple patch between the 50th and 65th minute in which they pelted efforts on goal relentlessly. That second goal had to wait for Saka, though. It should have been a wholly positive night for Arsenal, even more so at the hamstring injury that forced Gabriel off after just 16 minutes. That threatened to dominate the agenda for the night. Saka ensured he did instead. But Arteta will have been more than a little frustrated at the way Miles Lewis-Skelly and William Saliba took their foot off the gas and allowed Muniz to score in stoppage time. Bukayo Saka celebrates scoring just 7 minutes into his comeback after 3 months out. It's a simple finish at the back post for the England star and the 10th goal of a curtailed season. Mikel Merino watches his strike get past Fulham keeper Bernd Leno to put Arsenal ahead. Arsenal won to move within 9 points off Liverpool at the top. They rode their luck at times at the back, but overall were decent. Mikel Merino found the net once again, breaking the deadlock with another goal to his tally as a makeshift centre forward. And Saka made an astonishing return from injury, off the bench to an incredible ovation and scoring the second within 7 minutes. In just the right place to apply a simple finish nodded into an open goal after Gabriel Martinelli flicked on a cross. Saka gave a little smile and a shrug, and it is wonderful to see him back, but the significance of the night is Gabriel's injury. If he is out, Arteta has lost his defensive bedrock as he plots to keep out Real's embarrassment of attacking riches, featuring Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Jr. and Jude Bellingham. Fulham travelled across the capital on the rebound from the disappointment of Saturday's defeat at home in an FA Cup quarter-final to Crystal Palace. With the Wembley dreams shattered, boss Marco Silva challenged them to produce a positive finish to a fine Premier League campaign and aim for European qualification. Silva made 5 changes and tweaked his usual shape to a back 5, and sought to invite Arsenal forward, stifle them and try to counterattack at speed in support of Raul Jimenez, leading the line on the ground where he suffered the horrific fractured skull while playing for Wolves in November 2020. The visitors were on one of those lightning breaks out of defense when Gabriel felt a hamstring ping as he crossed the halfway line on a recovery run. He hobbled back into the defensive and sank to the turf when the ball went out of play. He seemed to know immediately that was the end of the night for him, and he was replaced by Jakub Kiwior. The Spaniard has chipped in with 6 Premier League goals this season for the Gunners. With Liverpool disappearing into the Premier League sunset, Mikel Arteta would have come back from his international break with Real Madrid on his mind. He wasn't admitting to that, of course. It's strictly one game at a time in Artetaland. But he would have prepared for this game against Fulham and Saturday's trip to Everton, hoping to see his team produce cohesive displays, ideally with victories, goals for his forwards, and a gentle return to action for Bukayo Saka. More than anything else, though, the Arsenal boss would have been praying for no fresh injuries ahead of the Champions League quarter-final against holders Real, which starts here on Tuesday. Gabriel Magalhaes pinging a hamstring inside 15 minutes was certainly not on the wish list. The Brazil international, just back from World Cup qualifiers in South America, wore the despairing look of a footballer who suspects he needs a miracle if he is to take part in this illustrious fixture. So all those other things came in for Arteta, and Saka made an astonishing return from injury, off the bench to an incredible ovation and scoring the second within 7 minutes. In just the right place to apply a simple finish nodded into an open goal after Gabriel Martinelli flicked on a cross.